Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All things Middle-earth here with a video on whether or not I am quitting the Rise to War. I'm officially back in backend after my most recent season, and this is probably the question I get asked the most. It's actually in my Discord as a frequently asked question, something we talk about on stream from time to time, and I'll share my thoughts in little bits and pieces. But I wanted to put together a video kind of answering that question once and for all and sharing some thoughts that I have, and I'd love to have a conversation with you all about that. So if you wouldn't mind sitting down for a second and listening and chatting with me and in the comments down below or Discord, whatever it is, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well and kind of feel or hear where the community stands on this game, its current state, and all that good stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and roll the intro and let's get into it. Now, the purpose of this video is not just to have a clickbaity looking thumbnail that's am I quitting the game. I'm hoping to get attention with the thumbnail, but that's just to, I think, get people in here and have a conversation. And I want to start off right away by saying, first off, that I am not quitting the Rise to War, nor do I have plans to quit the Rise to War. So if that's like the one big thing you were hoping to get answered, at least you have that and you're free to go. But I'd love if you would stick around because I want to share some of my thoughts and why people probably continue asking me based on like the thoughts and attitudes I've expressed about the game. So I'd love to share that with you, but also I really would like to hear where the community as a whole stands on these different issues. And we talk about there being problems, and I want to know what are the biggest problems, like what are the biggest things we want solved as a community to make this better, because there are a lot of different things. So how can we best focus energy to say that this is the biggest thing, this will have the most improvement? So I want to kind of lay some things out. But again, to reiterate, I have no plans to quit the Rise to War. I'm not quitting it. In terms of my next season plans, I do not have any. That's probably the second most asked question is, are you quitting? And I say no, and people are like, well, what are you doing? And I truthfully don't know yet. I am back end as of like late last night, so I've not been here that long, and the rough plan is to take a little bit of a break here, although our season had been over for a very, very long time. There is a new campaign, or I guess an update to campaigns. I'm not sure how that it's exactly going to look, but I'll share that video up in the top right where I talked about that. There are just some changes to campaigns coming, so I might see if I can get a timeline of those things, and maybe that would be where we jump back in. But I'm not committed to anything, or I'm not committed to a certain time in back end. I just want to make sure whatever I do, I enjoy it, because at the end of the day, I don't feel like I can make effective content if I don't enjoy what I'm doing. So I want to be in a space where I enjoy the game to then make content and cover and help you guys have a better experience by sharing build guides or just doing chill live streams where we just hang out and stream for 4 hours and PvP our hearts out, or whatever it is, just having a good time. So whatever that looks like for me, that's what I'm figuring out. And as soon as I do know, I'm sure I'll be letting people know either in the Discord or over here, because whether I like it or not, I think a lot of people are invested in what's going on with the channel and what my account's doing and all that kind of good stuff. So again, there's no next steps, but right now we're in back end, at least kind of just like feeling the pulse of things, trying to figure out what we want to do. But we're not quitting, but we don't have a plan to jump in to the next campaign that opens up or whatever like that. We're gonna sit for a minute and just feel things out. So kind of wanted to address those two things first, because those are probably the biggest questions that I get asked. And at least of this date, check whatever date the video, again, you could be watching this way later, check the date of this video. This is my thoughts and as of this video going out. I'm gonna record this and post the same day, so whatever the day it is down there, that's accurate to this. Now, we've done videos before talking about like what this game needs or changes, and so it's hard to not feel like a broken record. In fact, I very much do feel like a broken record, but at the end of the day, I do enjoy this game. I enjoy playing it. I enjoy creating content on it. And there's not a crazy amount of content creators. We have some awesome content creators in the community, but I know that I have a loud voice and one that can sometimes reach the developers. So I feel almost obligated, even if I do feel like a broken record, to reiterate things that I feel are being said to me the most frequently kind of from the community. So I want to talk about 4 things that I think this game needs. These are, I just tried to really peel back all the emotion and frustration, or like the really personal picky ones, and just like what are things that could be really simply spelled out that I think this game needs, that have been talked about a lot, or maybe they haven't. I think a lot of these have, but I'm hoping that we can get attention behind these things, which is always the hope, that we get some attention from the devs behind these things. And I'm hoping that we can get some at least communication on these. That's the biggest thing here. If a dev or development team or somebody is watching this, or somebody who's watching this who can get this to that team, the biggest thing for me, this is not really, well, it's one of the points, but we're kind of jumping ahead. But the biggest thing is just the communication. If there's an outcry, the players are not happy, they want X, Y, Z, whatever it is. At some point, communication addressing those things, I think, would go almost as far as like those things being implemented. Now, maybe not, but like the silence is brutal, and that if nothing else, it would go a long way to get some communication and facilitate some conversation so we can understand if these things aren't happening, why aren't they happening, and so we as a player base can understand what is realistic and what is not, and people can make the decision whether or not they want to continue playing, because if we have communication and know this is what the future holds, then people can make that decision because people are spending time and money. So I think they should have the right to have information to decide what they want to do. So anyway, that's a later point, but the first point I want to talk about is a sandbox mode. Now, this is something that was confirmed coming to the game, I believe about 9 months ago during the 1-year anniversary of this game. It's something they brought up and basically said, this is coming to the game. We're working on it, but they didn't have a time frame for it, which is fair. At least as of 9 months ago, I wouldn't have expected like, surprise, it's coming out. This is the exact date. They're working on it. The issue I have is that we haven't had any communication since then saying, hey, we're still working on it. Hey, we've scrapped the idea. We can't do it. Hey, we're thinking roughly the 6-month time frame, whatever it is. We've had no communication on that front. But I think a sandbox mode makes a ton of sense for this game because it's an expensive game to play if you want to try different things every season. If you're free to play or a low spender, you will know that you started out in your first season with a couple commanders, and over time you got more and more and more. But the respect that you have on commanders really, you can only use it on so many commanders that you want to use at good levels. So with it being a game that's kind of expensive to try new things, to try new gear pieces, to try new commanders to different respects, to try new unique items, a sandbox mode that allows players, A, just something to do all the time, which would be a huge plus, but B, the ability to test out and try things in a sandbox mode and have fun with their friends or their fellowship or warband members or whatever it is. A mode like that, to me, would be a huge positive to the game because players can look and try out things they want to do and then make the decision to invest their respect or their gear, or just, maybe I try out a commander and love them, and so I end up spending more to work towards getting them. Whatever it is, I think a sandbox mode would help facilitate some really, really good stuff in the game. Next one, this should not be a surprise. This is probably the thing I've talked about the most on the channel, and that is a respect refund system. Again, in the same vein, with things being so expensive, without a respect refund system, you have to just keep dumping money in to do things. So the first point being a sandbox mode. If they're not going to add a respect refund system, I think a sandbox mode is even more crucial because I really think players deserve the right to try things before they dump their hard-earned cash into a commander who may not end up being that good, or scrapping one gear for another piece to try and see if they can get something good out of it, whatever it is. But a respect refund system, just like how our Elven Craftsman's Hammers work, I think makes so much sense. It'd be something that you couldn't just convert your whole roster, and I don't think it'd be broken personally, but it'd be a way for players to slowly, over time, if they keep playing the game and supporting the game, every season you get a couple of these things by playing through seasons. Maybe special limited time events would feature them, and we'll get to that in a bit as well. But a way to slowly decide, you know what, I don't want to use this commander anymore, and I really like to try one that I've not tried. I think a respect refund system. Again, I'll link some videos as we're going on. They're all over the channel, so if you search respect refund system, you will find more than one time that I've talked about it. So I won't go too much in depth, but I do think a respect refund system is something for me personally moving forward that would be a huge win. The next thing, and I kind of started touching on it there for a second in terms of rewards for like limited time events, is meaningful events. We used to have events a lot more frequently. They were okay. There were different things that players liked. There was the Yule Festival where you could decorate the tree and everyone could see the decorations, and you could write stuff on the ornaments. And it was a way players to like socially interact. The gardens during the Spring Festival, again, a lot of the events that had like social interaction features people usually liked. But there are legitimately no events in this game that people can look forward to playing that make players want to log in. For contrast, also on the channel, we cover another game, Heroes of Middle-earth, which is a different genre of game, but it's another mobile game, and they have events where they're releasing new characters or things are happening. and you want to log in and participate at those times to get something. You unlock, this most recently we had Arwen just come to the game, and you could unlock her at a lower star ranking. So still very usable, very, very playable character at that level, but you could unlock her at that point and play through an event with the story and get something. There's a reason to log in. In this game, I legitimately do not feel like in a long time there have been any events or activities that happen that make me want to log in more than any other day. And that's really weird for a game. You want your game to feel alive, and you want to feel like your development team is thinking of ways to capitalize on events happening around the world, or just Middle Earth events, whatever it is. You want people to have a reason to log in. So meaningful events to me would be a huge change if somehow they figured out. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the development staff is looking like these days or what's going on, but some meaningful events that not only are enjoyable to play, that allow us opportunities to interact with our friends, those in our fellowships or war bands or whatever it is, like the garden or the Yule tree, or it's things that are more social. But I love to see some events that actually incorporate like the actual mechanics we like in the game. There have been events that had different game modes that were like really close to a sandbox mode. We even made a video talking about that, where there was like a black gate mode where you had to pick and build a team to beat a team, and then it was actually bugged, and then like your team that you built would stay there and you could go and fight that team. And so it's like this difficulty increasing game mode where you pick a commander and you put their gear on and their skills, and you go fight one, and you pick the troops, and then you have to counter that one, and you can only use heroes one time. There's things that they've done in events, even if by accident or it's been a bug or whatever, that I think have really been enjoyable, and things that I would log in to play if those were regular parts of the game, or just, hey, it's this time of the month, we have the special commander counters challenge, where you see how many times you can come up with a decent counter for the armies that you're building, and then you have to face your own armies, whatever it is. Again, we've covered all this, so I'm not going to go in crazy I'm already going in depth, but you get the idea. Meaningful events would be just, I think, a game changer for this game. And lastly, I already touched on it, but so I'll make it quick, is just better communication. There's absolutely no reason. I don't know the situation with NetEase. I don't know what the development staff is looking like. To me, and I've spoken with people who are business owners, who are developers in other industries, and trying to get understanding of like, is there something I'm missing from my perspective and what I do that just doesn't make sense? To me, there is absolutely no reason that you can't even put out a text post answering some questions once in a while, or addressing major concerns in the game, either in Discord. We just had Jared post a video, the Underhill report, which is the first one in 6 months, and I will say, huge shout out for that. That was way overdue. And if those could be somewhat regular, and they want to use that platform one time a month for Jared to get on there for 3 minutes and say, hey, here are the questions that we're seeing all the freaking time. Hey, here are the game suggestions that we have in the Discord that are getting the most votes. Let me tell you if they're going to happen or not. Or let me tell you what we're thinking on these things. Give us a quick, hey, we feasibly can't do this, or hey, we're working on it. We don't like this idea. Hey, this is game breaking, whatever it is. Communication would help all of these things be better. The sandbox mode, the respect refund system, meaningful events. If there's communication behind why or why not these things aren't happening, or why they can't make them happen, that changes the game a lot. So communication absolutely has to get better from my point of view. Again, as someone who covers the game and has covered it since the very first day that it came out. Again, I go to my ring here. I played this game since the launch day and made content and covered content since that date. I have just as little communication as anybody. That's not like I have and that's just for me, the frustrating reality is, for free for them, if they would just send me a little bit of information, I would make content on it, and I would say, hey guys, they don't have time or resources to cover this the way they think it needs to be done, so they've given me some bullet points, and we're going to talk through their answers to these questions, and I would put together that stuff for them in a heartbeat. I would love to do that, but they don't really utilize any of their content creators in a way that I think is meaningful. So again, communication, we could go all day, but those are the 4 points that I have that I would love to see change. That these things being an issue and not being addressed at all are reasons that people probably, hey, you seem unhappy. Are you going to keep playing? Because I am not overly thrilled with the state of the game. However, like I said in the beginning, I'm not going anywhere. I love this game. I'm going to keep playing. I've invested a ton of time and money. I played since the launch day. I am a ridiculously huge Lord of the Rings fan. So while there are supported and live Lord of the Rings games, I'm gonna be playing them. I just would love to have a better experience, and I love a better experience for my fellow players and people that I'm playing with in my fellowships and warbands, or people I'm playing against, whatever it is. I'd love a better experience than we're getting right now. So that will lead me to the very end of the video. Again, I appreciate if you guys stuck around this long, if you are hanging out and just enjoy the channel and the content regardless of what's going out. It's very, very much appreciated. I did want to ask you guys 2 questions. First of all, on a personal channel note, I'd love to hear what content that you would like to see covered in regards to the Rise to War. We've done a lot of stuff in the past. We've done different stuff on commander builds and reviews on game tactics. We do live streams where we chill out. We play Heart of Hero on the weekends, or we do PvP or PvE or whatever it is. I'd love to hear what content you enjoy the most on the channel, or if there are things we don't cover. We do tier lists, we do account reviews, all that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear what content you guys consume, because at the end of the day, the reason I can do this is because I have amazing people like yourself watching this video, supporting the channel, so I can keep doing this. So I would really love to hear honest feedback on what you'd like to see done on the channel. I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a comment and let me know what you've enjoyed. Maybe I haven't done something that you've seen somewhere else, or that you have an idea that you'd like to see explored. Let me know, and I will seriously be looking through all these and taking notes and seeing what's feasible and what I can get done. I'd love to hear what you guys would like to see in regards to the Rise to War moving forward, because I don't know what I'm doing, but maybe there's a campaign that really needs coverage that you guys would like to see, and if that's a big outcry, we'll explore that together. So let me know on that. Question number 2, I just would also, and maybe this can be one comment, you can leave multiple, it's okay to leave multiple comments, I promise. You could leave 10 comments, I would not care. I talked about some things the game needs that are really important to me. I'm beating a dead horse. I feel like the broken record, all that good stuff. So I think a lot of us are on the same page, but did I miss anything really major? Do you agree with these things, not agree with these things? Maybe you're like, no, refund system sucks, we don't need it. I don't know. I always want to keep checking the pulse of the community. Am I on the right page when I talk about the things that are wrong with this game, or frustrating, or negative, or whatever? How are you feeling about the state of the game? And are you in agreement, disagreement? Or are there really big things that I missed that didn't fall into those 4? Again, I know we could get into a lot of stuff. We need commander reworks. We need newer campaigns. We need less campaigns. We need more optimized campaigns, bug fixes. I get it. There's a lot of stuff. But if we're trying to reduce the list so we can kind of clearly communicate that together, I'd love to hear if I didn't cover anything. So please let me know. Again, if you guys aren't in the Discord, that's linked down below. I'm always over there, especially through DMs or just in the chat channels. I'm not available 24/7, but if you send me a message, I should be able to get back at some point. So message me or comment. Let's have some conversations. I'd love to hear what you guys think as well. But I wanted to make this sort of PSA video, which I know it's turned into like a more than 15-minute conversation. If you're new here, that's pretty normal. If you're here, you're like, this is what I expect for these kind of videos where we talk about things. But I wanted to just address the probably biggest question I get in regards to myself playing the game. I'm not going anywhere, but we've got our things, and I'd like to keep talking about it because I think that's how we get change. We've seen it work in the past. So again, I don't want to put a negative light on it. I'm trying to be as positive as I can. I very much care about this game, and I'm not going anywhere. But how can we rally together as a community to get some things done that we think need to be done? That's the question. So let me know. I appreciate you guys. And as always, I'll see you in a future video.